Hello everyone, it's Stephen Paul with you from WinExtra, bringing you your daily brief of Microsoft news and information for April the 20th, 2011. And we did try and get yesterday's show in, but Comcast doesn't like Paul right now.
Calamity of errors, mate. We've got a business line here with Comcast that we only got put in last month after we moved from AT&T and had to file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau and everything in order to get out of them, but because they imposed the caps, and so we got Comcast put in. Ever since it's come in, we've had intermittent outages during the day. Yesterday was one of them. We were down for 3.5 hours, and I reported this problem last week, and it took 6 days to get a technician to the house. So obviously there was a lot of arguing and fighting with Comcast and a lot on the phone.
But you have a business account, isn't that supposed to be?
I have a business account, and I'm supposed to have same-day service, and it took 6 days to get a technician out.
Wow.
But we got pretty much everything sorted yesterday, except of course when the technician did finally come out, the connection was working. After being down for 3.5 hours solid yesterday alone, so they couldn't really find anything wrong then. So the solution is to wait until it goes down again and then try to get somebody out while it's down, even though it took 6 days.
I just want to take a moment too and introduce my newest toy that I got.
It
nice.
Looks like a laptop keyboard. It's tiny.
It's beautiful.
No good for somebody with sausage fingers like me.
It's the Microsoft Arc keyboard.
Nice shape to it. Yeah,
I like it a lot. I really like it. There's no number keypad, which I never used anyway. Okay, it's wireless. It works really well. I'm not a big fan of wireless, but no, I love it. It's a beautiful little keyboard. It works beautifully, and no more sticky shift key, at least anyway.
One other thing I want to mention about missing the show yesterday is I did try to call Hodson and do audio only, but Steve couldn't figure out how to get me on speakerphone. And the other side of it was a post that I wrote yesterday, or sorry, a post that I wrote this morning on my blog, was that Skype doesn't allow 3G calling over doesn't allow 3G calling on US networks. Well, that's what came up on my Android phone anyway when I tried to do it yesterday with T-Mobile, even though I do know people who can do it. And I wrote this post this morning giving out about that, and the second I hit publish, didn't read right web, publish an article about how Skype just released a bloody update this morning that lets me do 3G calling. So the long and the short of it is that, if my internet ever goes out again, I'll still be able to Skype in by my phone, and we'll be able to do the show with me at least on by audio. So we're covered in that respect now.
Good, cool. Anyway, you had something in the notes from yesterday about. I was reading the rules for a contest on Xbox Live and came across this. What's the deal, Canada?
Yeah, I came across this on Reddit while I was searching for stuff for early bits and is viral and that kind of thing, and it was really interesting that in the middle of this contest, it was something to do with like winning a Harry Potter chess set or something, or Microsoft points. But it says all potential winners who are residents of Canada will be required to correctly answer a mathematical skill testing question in order to receive their prize.
Okay, simple answer is that all lotteries and everything like that are controlled by the government in Canada, and you have to have a specific license for each time you run a lottery, raffle, whatever.
So by adding in a skill test, it stops being a lottery.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, test the skill. Okay, but here's the question. What if you failed the math test?
You're not supposed to use mechanical means to figure the answer out, but there isn't a person alive that's taken one of those that hasn't used a calculator.
I mean, what if they turn around and you win your 1,600 Microsoft points or your Harry Potter chess set or whatever, and next thing you get somebody from Microsoft calls you up on the phone or however they choose to do it, and he says, okay, you have 5 seconds to tell me the square root of 377.9 billion.
No, usually it's add two numbers, subtract one, add another number. You know, really mind.
You've done this before.
No, I've seen the examples that they, you know, because like when you get them on like cereal boxes, whatever, they actually have it already printed out for you to answer. So, you know, as long as you have that skill testing question, you get around the laws.
That is retarded. I mean, can't the government just say that, you know, you can occasionally win stuff? It's not like it's a lottery that you buy into, you know?
Yeah.
They need to sort of redefine, have a definition for lottery in terms of, like down here where I am, there's no lottery. There's no national lottery or state lottery or whatever. But I can drive across the border 45, you know, an hour into Florida, or I can go 30 minutes the other way into Mississippi and take part in the lottery.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like the most arse-backwards thing ever, you know? Anyway, on to Microsoft news.
Microsoft is joining the Startup America program by committing a whole bunch of software and services. Microsoft joined 11 other companies in a $400 million effort to support American entrepreneurs.
Okay, so this is much the same as they have done with Startup Britain, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. That's very cool. Good to see Microsoft supporting the little guy.
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. Was it last month or the month before? There was a report about some, you know how to do with the Komodo VeriSign certificates. They got hijacked. Well, Microsoft is going to be issuing a security update for the phone, but they're putting it through Zoom, not over the air.
I was going to say, like, you know, people aren't going to get that till 2013.
No, but that's the way. They're not going through the carriers this time. They're going straight through Zoom.
So why aren't they doing this with all updates then?
Can we say this is maybe a practice run?
I would like to think that it is a practice run, you know, because basically they're saying, look, these certificates can be spoofed, so we need to send this update by a means that, you know, can't be spoofed, which is, you know, because the carriers can be.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't see why they can't push for it now, because basically, like, they're just going to turn around and say, look, okay, Apple is doing it with AT&T. Apple is doing it with Verizon.
The problem, though, is when we, like, for example, the HTC on like, because we heard word today, yesterday, that the AT&T rollout for Nodo and the pre-update rolled out, except for the HTC.
Well, we knew that wasn't going to roll out for the HTC because it's still in updates. It was still in testing.
Because there's
testing.
Yeah,
you know?
because it's something that the HTC did with the hardware that wasn't accounted for.
I thought, no, that wasn't AT&T's excuse. The AT&T excuse that I read was that it had to do with a third-party application. But either way, I mean, at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter what third-party application. Yeah. Okay, all that matters is the core OS and what it does. Because in that case, the rationale would be that if a third-party application requires AT&T to test it in order for a phone update to be deployed, then wouldn't they need to test each and every app?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, the interesting point to take away from this is that, yes, Microsoft does have, as we've always known, and they've said, the ability to update the phones via Zoom. And now they're doing it.
Yes.
So it raises the question, simply, are they going to sidestep the carriers completely? And if not, why not? Yeah. Because once they do this it will set a precedent that people will expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they will have no excuse not to roll these things out and not to roll updates out en masse. I mean, I was listening to Tech News Today last week, or during the week, and somebody was talking about, you know, they were comparing Windows Phone 7 to Apple and saying that, look, Apple manages to do it. Roll out to all these carriers at once, except that now Apple has a split between Verizon and AT&T in the US. Although the rest of the world, 137 different carriers, they managed to roll out to all of them at the same time. Yeah. So what does that tell you about the carriers here? Yeah. And why AT&T, or why Microsoft really needs to just adopt this head on and say, this is what we're doing.
An interesting little bit, as we know, the Windows Live services, web-based, come out in what they call waves, and we're due up for what's called Wave 5, and the Hotmail portion of Wave 5 is going to get HTML5 offline storage support. Now, LiveSide is supposing that this could end up replacing Windows Live Mail client on the desktop.
No, I think it's just going to be a lot more like. Remember, Google Gears did the same thing for Google for Gmail.
Yeah.
It didn't replace any desktop app, because basically, if you wanted desktop app functionality, there's far better desktop apps out there. I don't see it.
Yeah, I finally got Outlook up and running.
See, here's the problem as to why it won't replace Windows Live Mail. It's very, very simple. Okay? The Windows Live Mail client in your Windows desktop application, can access accounts from lots of other places as well. And Microsoft still wants you using that. They want you, if you want to pull in your Gmail to it, if you want to pull in your Yahoo Mail, if you want to pull in your AOL Mail. Have you tried the new Phoenix yet, which is AOL's Gmail attempt? If you want to pull any of these things in, you can to your Microsoft branded client.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be pushing people to the cloud for that.
Now you've got this one in here, the hidden Internet Explorer tags. You want to take this one off?
Yeah, it's just an interesting point that came out of a blog post by Dave Metvin over at Information Week. We hear a lot of people bitching and moaning about not upgrading. You know, I want these features on Windows XP. I want these features on my machine. And, you know, it always annoys me, and it harkens back to this whole companies not upgrading from Internet Explorer 6 or Internet Explorer 7. And they don't always have an excuse. They want everything to work on those browsers, but they always have an excuse not to upgrade. It costs too much. We've got to do this. We've got to do that, right? Now, mind the security implications. This guy's post is rather interesting because it brings up the fact that it's costing everybody more money to support these people. And it's costing these companies more money just to run these things, just to run IE6 and have stuff running on IE6 than it may do to upgrade. Because there's a development cost involved with developing for IE6 that involves, you know, not being able to deal with transparencies, not having CSS effects that you have in modern browsers, IAX effects, geolocation, lots of stuff that we come to rely on that you just can't do on these browsers. And they're basically saying that it takes anywhere like 30 to 40% more development time just to support these features in IE6. So it's costing the entire industry at large to support it. And it may be costing those companies that won't upgrade either. It might even be costing them more than it is to just upgrade.
You hear that, Chase Bank? Carol Bartz has added again. Microsoft ad technology isn't working out so well for us.
Okay. Yeah, she got on their earnings call, and apparently, you know, the earnings call comes down to this. We don't have as much revenue coming in from Microsoft ads because people aren't as inclined to click on Microsoft ads. Okay, investors are still investing in Yahoo. Yahoo is shuttering services left, right, and center.
Yeah.
But yet their ad revenue is down. Well, I'm not surprised, Carol Bartz, that your ad revenue is down, because even though your traffic may have taken a 5% boost this past month, according to Compete, your traffic is way down year-over-year. So, of course, your revenue from page views is going to be down in terms of ad clicks. But, you know, they're saying that they're working with Microsoft to alter how the ads work and that sort of stuff. So overall, Yahoo's revenues were down 19% last year. Not, may I stress, including traffic acquisition costs.
Yeah.
What do you expect when you shutter so many services? Now, I left a picture from a Business Insider post in the show notes. You might want to put it up there so everybody can see it, of Bartz and Ballmer together. And I had to put it up there because the first thought that came to mind when I saw that picture is he not grinning like a necrophile in the middle of a morgue? You know? Look at that grin! It's like, dude, I don't know what's going through Ballmer's head right there, but somebody ain't coming out of that too well.
In the past little while, we've had, on numerous occasions, Google has been releasing reports of security risks with Microsoft Explorer, Internet Explorer. Well, it turns out Microsoft has decided to play the same game under a new initiative, their new vulnerability disclosure policy for non-Microsoft products, and announced a couple of Chrome security risks. Now, to be fair, these are older ones that have been patched.
So why announce them if they've been patched? Because everybody that's using Google... I'm confused. For those of you listening to the audio stream and didn't get to see the confused look on my face, that moment of silence you heard before I opened my mouth was sheer confusion. I can understand why Microsoft would start this new vulnerability disclosure policy for non-Microsoft products. Okay, I can 100% understand it. And I can understand as well that they want to bitch slap Google around the place. But if you're going to do this, at least come out with something newsworthy.
Yeah.
I mean, why talk about older vulnerabilities? 99% of people who use Google Chrome
are up to date.
Well, you have to be, because Chrome updates in the background without your intervention.
Yeah.
You close Chrome, next time you turn it on, it's been updated.
Yeah.
People don't even get notified about it. So,
anyway.
Here's the issue, right? Computer World reports that these security holes were fixed. Oh yeah, they were fixed by late last year. What? Microsoft! Whoever's idea it was to decide to disclose these particular vulnerabilities, did they get put off by the... Did they get put into shock by the Ballmer grinning like a necrophile picture or something? That they just... Their brain didn't work and they couldn't think, so they decided to out these? Makes no sense to me.
Anyway, we have a bit of a feedback from Steve from Goodyear again. Just wanted to let you guys know that while bored in jury duty right now, I checked my Samsung Focus and have an update available to me on AT&T network. Finally.
Wow. What can I say? Except, first off, congratulations, Steve. And second, I really hope this isn't a murder case you're in jury duty for, dude. I hope this isn't something serious that actually relies on you paying attention. Because, you know, you're there playing with your Samsung Focus and dealing with phone updates.
Anyway, if you have any comments that you want to make about today's show or anything we talked about today, you can drop us a note at podcast.
O.J. Simpson might have wanted to have you on jury duty.
You can drop us a line at podcast@winextra.com or leave us a comment on this post or over at youtube.com/winextra or drop us a voicemail at 251-281-8730.
Let's try that again because you botched it and it sounded like there was an extra 8 in the middle. It's 251-281-8730. It's at the bottom of this.
And on that note, folks, this is Steve and that's Paul. And this has been WinExtra's Daily Brief for April the 20th, 2011. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody, as long as Comcast plays nice.
No, even if they don't.
Okay, all right. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Good one.